You're tuning to Relationship Wednesday, where we expose the lies, set fire to the bullshit, and show you what real love should actually feel like. This is the Bad Influence Podcast, the one they warn you about. I'm your host, Jordan Banderas, and today we're cutting through manipulation, codependency, and toxic patterns with a machete. If you're tired of walking on eggshells in your relationship, this is where it ends. Raw truth, real growth. Let's get into it. Guys, let me tell you something real. Love isn't about saving her. It's about seeing her strength before she sees it herself. Because you don't build a queen by keeping her safe. You build her by reminding her she was born for war. You don't step in front of her. You stand beside her. Because when she rises, you both win. That's the part no one tells you. Her strength doesn't subtract from yours. It multiplies it. It's true. At least that's what has happened in my marriage. And that's why I want to talk about this. So picture this. Your partner, the love of your life, the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, being disrespected, talked over, dismissed. What's the first emotion that hits you? Anger, sadness, or helplessness? Anger hits first. It's loud, quick, but helplessness? That one cuts deeper. Because it's not just about her. It's about remembering all the times you stayed silent when you should have stood tall. You want to shield her, fix it, step in. But that's not strength. That's ego craving control. Real love isn't about fighting for her. It's about reminding her she already knows how to fight. You don't need to save her from the world. You just need to remind her that the world doesn't stand a chance against her fire. It's true. Think about it. So be honest. Do you help her because you want to see her strong? Or because you can't handle watching her struggle? Good question, right? Well, here's the thing. Most men don't realize it. They mistake protection for partnership. They step in, not because she's weak, but because her pain makes them uncomfortable. But growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in chaos. If you love her, stop cushioning every fall. Stand close enough that she feels supported, but far enough that she remembers she's powerful. You're not her savior. You're her mirror. That's true. What does it mean when she stands up for herself? To some men, it looks like rebellion. To the wrong men, her strength feels like a threat. But to the right one, it looks like evolution. Because when a woman finds her voice, the last thing she needs is a man trying to mute it under the name of love. Her power doesn't need policing. It needs partnership. Who taught you what it means to protect a woman? And did that lesson come from love or ego? Most of us learn through imitation. We watch our fathers, uncles' movies. Men who thought protecting men possessing. Stay behind me. Don't worry, I'll handle it. But that kind of protection builds dependence, not depth. Real protection doesn't sound like I'll handle it. It sounds like you've got this and I've got your back. That's love without ownership. It's strength without control. It's not about shielding her. It's about sharpening her. That's how you build a queen. Have you ever spoken for her instead of standing with her? You thought you were helping. You interrupted, explained, translated. Not because she couldn't speak, but because you thought you should. That's not partnership. That's projection. Love doesn't need a savior. It needs a witness, because witnessing her strength is the highest form of respect. Think about it. Do you remember the last time her silence scared you more than her words ever could? Because silence isn't peace, it's distance. It's the quiet that follows exhaustion. When she stops speaking, it's not because she's fine. It's because she stopped feeling safe to speak. That kind of silence isn't surrender. It's survival. And if you ever love a woman in that state, you know how loud silence can get. Are you helping her grow? Or are you accidentally stealing her power? You think you're being her hero, right? But heroes create dependence. And every time you step in to save her, you rob her of the moment she was meant to rise. Love doesn't remove struggle. It respects it. It's not your job to fight her battles. No, it is not. It's your job to remind her she's built to win them. Do you sometimes mistake control for care? Control sounds like love when it wears the right tone. It sounds like, I just don't want you to get hurt, right? We all say that at one point. But underneath that softness is fear. Fear of losing significance. Caring isn't control. It's presence. What scares you more? Her falling or her realizing she doesn't need saving? That's the shadow of male ego. Because somewhere deep down, you've been told that if she doesn't need you, you lose purpose. I've been told that. I've seen that in movies. I've seen that with so-called gurus. I see it on Instagram a lot. But love isn't supposed to cage someone for your comfort. It's supposed to free both of you to evolve. That's true. How much of your masculinity is tied to protecting her? If it's everything, you build your identity on being needed, not being present. A man's worth isn't measured by how much he shields her, but by how much he believes in her when the world doubts her. You don't lose value when she becomes strong. No, you don't. You gain power because her strength reflects your own evolution. What if love isn't about shielding her, but about showing her she was never fragile? That's a good question. What if the most powerful thing you can do is to step back and let her rise? You can't be her protector and her equal at the same time. Because protection without empowerment becomes possession. And no queen ever grew from a cage. I know, right? I just blew your mind. Can you love her enough to let her challenge you? If her truth shakes your ego, it's not her tone that's the problem. It's your pride. It's true. Think about it. Because real love invites confrontation. Because when she challenges you, she's not trying to dominate you. She's trying to meet you. That's how two leaders grow together. Her strength doesn't make you less of a man. No, it doesn't. I don't give a shit about what those fucking gurus say on Instagram, especially the ones that use the red pill to give relationship advice. Because love reveals how strong you already are. A weak man wants obedience. A strong man wants alignment. Because a king doesn't compete with his queen. He builds the kingdom with her. I bet nobody talks about this. You can't lead what you fear. And you can't love what you need to control. Imagine what your relationship would look like if both of you stood tall, side by side. No rescuing, no hiding, no shrinking. Just two warriors walking through life, matching energy, building something sacred. That's not love, it's legacy. And it only happens when both rise without fear of outshining the other. Be the kind of man who reflects her power, not replaces it. When she doubts herself, remind her who she is. When she wavers, stand steady, but don't speak for her. You don't give her strength, you just remind her she already had it. That's the kind of love that builds empires. If you want to lead her, lead by example, not by dominance, but by discipline. Show her what accountability looks like. Show her what emotional safety feels like. And she'll rise. Not because you save her, but because she felt safe enough to become unstoppable. I used to think protecting my wife meant stepping in. I show up to every appointment, every meeting, every hard conversation. That was love. That was loyalty. At least, that's what I told myself. When she got sick, I went with her to every doctor. I'd sit right beside her, but I wasn't really beside her. I was in front of her. I talked for her, explain her symptoms, tell them how she was feeling. I thought I was helping, but she wasn't getting any better. Every visit felt the same. New medication, same results. I couldn't figure out why. I was doing everything right, wasn't I? I was protecting her. I was being a man. Then one day, after another appointment, she was quiet. Not angry, not sad, just empty. And she said something that hit harder than any diagnosis ever could. She said, "They're not listening to me. They're listening to you." That's when it hit me like a punch to the chest. I wasn't protecting her. I was silencing her. I'd made her strength invisible by trying to speak for it. The truth? I wasn't doing it for her. I was doing it for me. Because I couldn't handle watching her struggle. Her pain made me feel powerless. And instead of facing that helplessness, I tried to control the situation. That's what we do sometimes. We mistake control for care. We tell ourselves we're saving them when really we're saving ourselves from discomfort. The next appointment, I sat back, hands folded, mouth shut, and I watched her speak. Her voice shook at first, but then it didn't. And for the first time, the doctor actually listened. That's when I understood what real love looks like. It's not running into every fire for her. It's standing close enough to remind her she can walk through it herself. She didn't need me to fight her battle. She needed me to believe she could win it. And that moment changed everything. Because the day I stopped speaking for her was the day she found her voice again. And when she did, she didn't just rise. We both did. You don't build a queen by protecting her from every battle. You build her by reminding her she was born to fight. You don't stand in front of her. You stand with her. You don't silence her roar. You amplify it. Because real love doesn't fear her fire. It fuels it. When she wins, you both win. When she stands tall, the world notices the man beside her. Because kings don't compete with queens. They co-rule. And the kingdom that grows from that kind of love, unshakable. Love her enough to let her fight. Trust her enough to let her grow. Stand beside her, not in front of her. Because when she rises, you don't lose power. You rise too. And remember, the choice is yours. And that's it for today. If this episode peeled back the mask on your relationship, don't ignore it. You deserve more than crumbs. Draw the damn line. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss the truth bombs that actually change lives. Share this with someone who needs to wake up to real love, not manipulation. This is the Bad Influence Podcast. Until next time, know your worth. Speak your truth. Never flinch, and have a great day.